One evening, I came home after a long day at work. My wife had already set the table. She served dinner quietly, without a word. I held her hand gently and said, "There's something I need to tell you." She didn't ask what it was. She just sat down, lowered her head, and began eating, but I could see it in her eyes. Sadness. For days I had been trying to find the courage to say it, and finally, with a heavy heart, I whispered, "I want a divorce." She didn't yell at first. She just looked at me in shock and asked softly, "Why?" I had no answer. I couldn't tell her the truth that I had fallen for someone else. Her hands trembled. Then suddenly she threw down her chopsticks and shouted, "You're not a man." That night, she cried. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to comfort her. I wanted to say something, but deep down, I felt my love for her was already gone. The next day, I wrote up a divorce agreement. I offered her our house, our car, and even 30% of my company. I thought maybe money would ease her pain, but she tore it to pieces right in front of me. This woman I had shared 10 years of my life with suddenly felt like a stranger. I told myself it was better this way. After all, I loved someone else, Jane, and yet watching my wife cry, I felt an ache in my chest. The next evening, when I came home late, I saw her sitting at the table, writing something. I was too tired to ask. I went straight to bed. In the morning, she handed me a letter. It wasn't about money or property. It was her conditions for the divorce. She asked for just one thing. 1 month before we separated. She wanted us to live as normally as possible for the sake of our son, who had final exams coming up. I agreed. But then she added one more request. Every morning, she wanted me to carry her in my arms from our bedroom to the front door, just like I had done on our wedding day. I thought it was silly, but she looked at me with such tired eyes, I couldn't say no. When I told Jane about it later, she laughed. She's just trying to buy time. Don't fall for it, but I promised my wife I would do it. The first morning felt strange. I picked her up, awkward and stiff. Our son clapped his hands and said, "Daddy is carrying Mommy." His innocent smile hit me hard. As I carried her through the living room, she whispered, "Don't tell him about the divorce." I nodded silently. On the second day, she leaned against my chest. Could smell her perfume. It had been years since I'd noticed something so simple. By the third day, I realized she had grown thinner. Her body felt lighter. I looked at her face closely for the first time in years. Wrinkles, gray hairs, signs of time I had ignored while chasing my own happiness. On the fourth day, carrying her no longer felt awkward. It felt natural, comforting. This was the woman who had given me her youth, her love, and 10 years of her life. Day by day, something inside me began to shift. Our son looked forward to it every morning, calling it Mommy's ride, and I began to look forward to it too. One morning, she tried on dresses, but none fit. She laughed nervously and said, "Everything is too big on me now." That's when I realized. She had lost so much weight. The reason it was easy to carry her wasn't just love it, was because she was fading. The guilt tore through me. How long had she been suffering in silence while I was out with Jane? Still, she smiled every morning, as if carrying her was the happiest moment of her day. By the last week, I no longer thought of divorce. Each step with her in my arms felt like a vow I should never have broken. On the final morning after our son left for school, I held her tighter than ever before. Tears filled my eyes as I whispered, "I don't want a divorce. I'm sorry. Should have loved you better." She looked at me, smiled faintly, but didn't say a word. I rushed to the office that day and told Jane everything. I don't want to leave my wife. I was blind. But now, I know what matters. Jane stared at me in shock. Then she slapped me and screamed, "You'll regret this," before storming out of my life. I didn't care. I had finally realized what I truly wanted. That evening, I stopped at a flower shop and bought a bouquet for my wife. On the card, I wrote, "I'll carry you every morning until death do us part." Smiling for the first time in weeks, I hurried home. But when I entered our bedroom, my heart stopped. She was lying on the bed, still and pale. She was gone. I dropped the flowers. The world around me collapsed. Only then did I discover the truth. My wife had been fighting cancer for months. She knew her time was short. That's why she asked for one last month. Not for herself, but for our son. She wanted him to believe his parents were happy, so that when she left this world, he wouldn't have to carry the burden of a broken family. I stood there, crying uncontrollably. I had been so blinded by my own desires that I failed to see her pain, her sacrifices, her love. Our marriage wasn't empty. I was the one who stopped paying attention. And now, it was too late. Friends, we often chase after money, success, or someone new, believing those things will bring us happiness. But in the end, it's the small things, the laughter, the shared moments, the hand we hold in difficult times that truly matter. Don't wait until it's too late. Cherish the person beside you. Be their friend, their partner, their safe place. Because true happiness, isn't found in wealth, or status found in the love we nurture every single day, that is the real secret to a happy marriage.